Hello and welcome to another LEGO Train MOC showcase video. This is my 8 stud wide upgrade for my City of Truro MOC. So when I undertook the project of making a bunch of models 8 studs wide, this was the first one to go through that process. And it's also the most different looking engine compared to its 7 wide counterpart. When I did the video where I showcased all of my models just to kind of show off my collection that's up to date, looking at the City of Truro model, I thought, my god, that really does look out of date. My build methods and techniques have definitely increased as time has gone on, but it was just something I wasn't happy with, so I think a rebuild was inevitable, and the 8 wide situation was perfect for this. So the boiler itself really isn't that different to its previous incarnation. This middle section where the nameplate is has been extended by 1 stud, and there have been a few internal structure details that have been increased, because previously I looked at it and thought, yeah, that shouldn't be there, if that makes sense. But of all things that got upgraded, the frames for the wheels are way better. There were round pieces in there, there were a bunch of gaps, it looks really awkward, and this is just so much cleaner and so much smoother. On the 7 wide version, I had to use round bricks to kind of make sure that the drive rods were all connected. I wasn't trying to get it to look accurate, I just wanted it to work. But now I've been able to figure out a method where I can achieve both, and this is a much smoother runner. My 7 wide version had the drive rods ping off nearly every single lap, and it was infuriating. This is genuinely a very smooth runner. I want to show off this middle section a little bit more and also showcase the use of minifigure hands for some certain details. Because they're very small and they can be attached at a weird angle, you can actually achieve some very interesting details, especially for trains. I've gone through my minifigure torso selection and I've pulled out as many black minifigure hands as I can, because my goodness, they really do wonders when it comes to details. So that's a good tip right there. Now, I'm not sure what's got more of an upgrade, the boiler or the tender, because this also looks quite basic in its 7 wide version. This is still using some elements that haven't really been changed, notably the main body itself, but it just looks better. Again, this is a combination of going 1 stud wider, as well as some more up-to-date and better building methods and techniques. So the top half of the tender is mainly unchanged. There are a few areas that have been given a bit of an upgrade. It's very subtle in the sense that it's just more cleaner. It's the only way I can really describe it. There were a few parts that were missing previously and a few areas that were just a bit more chunky and bulky, but now this just looks more realistic. Of course, it's still LEGO, so there are limits, but this just feels nicer to have. These new wheel details are an experiment, and one that amazingly I was able to pull off. Now, the one thing to note here is that I am using medium-sized drive wheels, which is something I still encourage people to use, but the issue there is trying to get these details on the side is a bit tricky, because you'll either have them too high or they can get too wide. Now, this is a fair compromise, it still kind of sticks out a bit, but I've been able to get these as low down as possible, where the bottom bit of these outer details is in the middle of the wheels. It's something that I've always struggled with, and in some models I've been able to get it to work, that I can now put this model on that list. When I first made my City of Truro model a few years ago, I looked at it as an excellent model because it was difficult to pull off in LEGO form, and in turn it was a rare thing to have. But as the years went on, I saw this as an interesting kind of perspective, in the sense that the methods I used to make this 8 wide that you're seeing here now, they're really not that complicated. I've been able to develop my skills over the years, but in time, we really are going to have a lot more people understand and use these methods to create a massive fleet of some incredible engines. Now, of course, some people are slower to learn these techniques than others, and I am one of those people. I know how I like to build trains, and I kind of stick to that. But at the same time, it's not that complicated to make this. It really isn't. You have to accept a few limitations in some areas, but at the same time, when you make this model and you get the end result, you look at it, you take a step back and you think, oh my god, I actually made this. It's one hell of a feeling. So thank you all ever so much for watching. Make sure you join my Discord server to talk with like-minded fans of Nerf blasters and LEGO trains. Consider following me on Instagram and on Flickr for some behind-the-scenes action and some sneak peeks of current and future projects. Keep an eye out on my community tab for polls and updates. thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.